Excuse me, can I interrupt you a moment?
Yes, what is it?
Have you read the reports today about the linking of cancer with regular beer drinking?
Yes, I have, yes.
What do you think of it?
I think it's all rubbish myself.
Why is it?
I've been drinking beer for the same beer here, about 45 years, and then upset me.
There are 4 direct and indirect ways that we know of that alcohol can increase the cancer risk. Alcohol, and especially the metabolite of alcohol called acetaldehyde, can be directly toxic to cells, and things that are directly toxic to cells tend to make them grow abnormally, which can progress to cancer. Alcohol can interfere with hormones. These are the signals that are used in the body, and also the immune system, reducing our natural defenses to cancers. The third way is cancer can actually help dissolve cancer-causing substances and help them bring them into the body. So obviously that will raise the risk of cancer as well. And finally, and people don't really think about this too often, but alcohol is very calorie rich. So alcohol can tend to increase our tendency to gain weight. And we know that obesity can increase our risk of developing cancer.
So let me be very clear. Alcohol can contribute to cancer. There's a clear link between alcohol consumption and cancers, and therefore it's absolutely appropriate as we pass this landmark legislation, the first time ever in the history of our state. We've introduced public health legislation for alcohol. We've very successfully introduced it in tobacco in the past, so let's use that model that we know works in relation to alcohol like we have done for tobacco.
All alcoholic beverages can cause cancer. I suppose people naturally tend to assume that it's worse with spirits, but in point of fact, it's the amount of alcohol. So spirits are more concentrated forms of alcohol, but it's still very easy to take in the same amount of alcohol with things like wine or beers. So it's the amount of alcohol rather than the type of alcohol that is the risk factor. So there's a number of different ways actually that alcohol can get directly into cells to cause its damage. Firstly, alcohol is metabolized by a number of different enzymes within the body, and in particular an enzyme called alcohol dehydrogenase. And that enzymatic breakdown makes a really toxic and very DNA damaging agent called acetaldehyde. And acetaldehyde can directly react with DNA, causing DNA damage. And anytime we get DNA damage, there's a risk of increasing cancer. Everybody is potentially susceptible to the risk of cancer from alcohol. And we do know that there are some variations and genes can play a relevance. But in reality, other environmental factors are probably more important. So what I mean by that is if somebody is drinking alcohol, but also smoking. So smoking is a big cofactor that can potentiate the risk of cancer from alcohol. So it's those other things that might be part of somebody's environment, somebody's sort of daily activities. We need to reflect that when we're reducing our risk of cancer from alcohol, we're also reducing our risk of a lot of other illnesses and conditions. And alcohol impacts things like pregnancy, can directly cause liver damage, cardiovascular disease, and violence. So in seeking to reduce the amount of alcohol, we can look at different social situations where we might be less likely to drink alcohol. We can look at using the alcohol-free beverages. Been careful with our measures of how much alcohol we take. So obviously, if we take a larger measure, there's more alcohol in that. And things like maybe diluting that alcohol in a larger mixer or just consuming it at a slower pace. There's a number of these different strategies. Some will work better in some situations than other, and for particular people will work better. But there are things that we can do definitely